They will continue to write laws against your rights and until you're willing to break laws to keep them. And that's the only way you're going to keep your rights is to break laws to keep them, because they've written laws against you. They've had 200 and some years to write laws against you being able, because they've studied how could they keep a rebellion from being a lawful rebellion. And that's what they're saying is, and this is what these people think. They think, well, we got to do this lawfully. We can't be aggressive or kill or vandalize or anything like that, because that would be against the law, and we can't win if we're against the law. Well, they're unconstitutional. They're writing stuff that is unconstitutional, so they're not lawful anyway, and they don't stick with the law because they don't care about the law, because it doesn't affect their getting voted in. So all they care about is writing, controlling something that will keep them in power, that will keep you scared to break the law. And that's how the only way you're going to keep your rights is by breaking the law. And that's what they're writing laws against. They continue to make laws, and they've done it for 200 years. And and that's what laws do, is keep you from being able to rebel against them lawfully. And so people are like, well, we got to have a lawful protest. We have to keep ourselves under control. We can't do anything to break the law, and that's what they're doing. They're writing all this stuff. So anything you do, and they keep you in line by telling you have to be lawful to get your rights, and they will talk you to death and not give you anything. That's what they want. They want you to be in discussions with them and trying to talk to them so that they can they can. I mean, they're politicians. They'll lie to your face and then go back and write a law against you. And that's what the British were doing. They would lie to your face, say, oh yeah, and then they'd write two laws against any. If they give them anything, they'd give them probably half a law. They might back off half a law and then write two laws against it that would make whatever law that they gave unlawful. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing for 200 years, and that's what the British were doing, and that's what every country and government has done and does, is keep you from being rebellious by writing laws against you taking over their governance, and they're controlling you until basically 200 years from now, everybody will be slaves, and you're not seeing that, and you're not going to have the ability to rebel because you won't have anything to rebel with. They might even, they might breed you out of having a voice. They'll say, well, nobody with voices. I mean, look at it, they're killing infants. Anybody with voice boxes isn't allowed to be born. 200 years from now. I know you're thinking, well, that's strange. Who knows? But that's what they're doing. You're gonna have to get your rights back. You're gonna have to break laws, and that's people are gonna end up in jail. People are gonna end up killed, or whatever. And there's only gonna be a small percentage of you that are gonna do it, and it's not gonna be enough to affect their vote, so they don't care. And until you have a organized plan to take over, because that's the only way to do it. And they have what kind of police force did they have? They basically were under a martial law. I don't even know if they had sheriffs back. I haven't studied who was in law. They had governors, and they had the military, and it was like a martial law. So I'm gonna have to look some of that stuff up. And of course, they're gonna write against history. I mean, look what they're doing now. They're going to say there was no civil war, 200 years from now, 300 years from now. They're going to say there's no civil war. If there is an America 200 or 300 years from now, they'll probably be communist. Not, because there's only 1% of the people or 2% of the people that are willing, they're not even willing to stand up and say, hey, we have to break the laws to keep our rights. And they're not willing to do that because they think, well, we got to do this lawfully, and they have all these cops saying, well, they're in charge of all the people that are saying, people are looking to the cops, you know, ex-cops or stuff like that, and they're saying, well, you know, to be lawful about this, we can't. And these cops, who knows what they're thinking? They're, you know, they either saying, well, you're going to have to break laws to keep your rights, or they're just have not acknowledged the fact that you have to break laws to keep your rights, and they're not going to say that because they're saying, well, you know, this, that, or the other. But that's exactly how it was. That's how, and that's what they've written laws against. They've made so many minor. That's what the infringements are. Is they've made it so it's unlawful for you to keep your rights. I mean, for you to keep your rights, you have to be unlawful. And people are saying, well, consciously, we can't. We have to do this lawfully. And you're not. You can argue with them. Look at, since I've been born, there's been more stuff written, and before we was born, there's been stuff written and infringed against the Second Amendment, and people are saying, well, we got to keep this stuff lawfully. How do we keep it? And they've written it and they voted it in, and everybody's like, well, the 1% of the public was like, well, hey, we want this, and they don't care because your vote doesn't mean anything to them.